Ready to set a sleeve in. The first thing I have to do is take my sleeve and find out which one I have. So I've got a double notch in the back and a single notch, that's the front, right? So which sleeve does this make this? The right one. Because if I'm looking at it and it would go on something I'm going to put on, the double goes to the back, the single goes to the front. So now I need to find the right hole on the blouse. Okay? So there's the double notch. See how they just come together. Thank you. There's the double notch, single notch, single notch. There's these two come together. And then there's the underarm seam. Let's see. Okay, I need to stop. Okay, there. Double notch there, single notch, and then it comes to the front. Now, let me show you what this is trying to do. Oh, here we go. You've got a shoulder, okay, like this. You've got a sleeve. It's standing straight up. Look. It's standing straight up. I got a shoulder seam and I got a sleeve, and I'm trying to sew them together. Doesn't work, right? But when I take the ease stitching and pull it, the sleeve is going to do this. Then it goes right in. That's what the easing does. Okay? That's your goal. We're taking this and making it this. So I want you to watch. I'm going to pull these two. Remember that when you pull, you have to stay on the same side. And for some reason, it's already knotted. So now I got to go on this side. Now I'm doing this without pinning it in because I just want you to see what it does to the sleeve. See how it just made it bend over? See? Let me turn it this, see? It was standing up straight, it made it bend over. Okay? So now I'm going to flatten it out some. And here's how you put it in. The first thing you do, that top tick mark is your shoulder seam. Match that together and pin it. Okay? The next pin is your first notch. So here I have my double notch coming first. Put those two together. See? Double notch. Get a pin. Now my underarm seam. And like we did on the intersecting seam, remember that? Pull it down and make sure these two come together perfectly. Pin that one. Next, single notch. Now, if you notice, now the sleeve fits in the hole. Again, I want to do this like we did on our samples with no pleats, not a single pleat. You see, so I'm kind of smoothing it out. I'm going to start at the single notch and I'm going to go around. I'm going to sew slightly to the left. I got my right stitch length. I'm going to put a knot because this is permanent. Now watch this. I'm pulling this back so that the seam allowances line up. And again, it's not a straight seam. There's curve to it. Keep that in mind. Don't try to sew things that are curved straight. No pleats. Make sure the seam allowance here goes in flat. Not a single pleat, and keep the seam allowances together. Let me show you what people do. They'll sew it like that, I swear. And this needs to be lined up to that, and that takes meat away from the sleeve. So I got a little pleat coming there. No, I'm sewing to the left of the furthermost, the outer one. No, not between. That's not 5/8 seam allowance. All right, so now I'm getting around. Now here I got two I got an intersecting, I got 2 sets of seam allowances that I need to make sure are coming in flat. Coming around. There you go. Sleeve is in. Now watch this. Take all the pins out. Push this through. And make sure there's no pleats. Ah, look, I got a pleat. I got to get it out. Nowhere else are there any. But there's one right there. So first thing I need to do is find it. Snip that stitch without cutting the sleeve. And find out what happened here. So pull it open. Oh, I'm good. Pull it open. And plug up that little hole. I need to pull it out enough that I can... Oh, crap, I just put a hole. Okay, so see how I can straighten it out now and there's no pleat? Okay, so I need to do that. It happens. But you don't want a single pleat or the sleeve is not eased in, it's gathered. Okay? Ow. There. Okay. So now I've got a little teeny one here, but that one can be pressed out. A little bitty one can be pressed out. A big one is a pleat. So the next thing that needs to happen, this is what we do to sleeve seam allowances. This is a whole lot of crap to have under your arm and around your arm. So what we do to make the sleeve hole bigger, we serge it out. So this is the first time I'm going to tell you to serge and cut as you're serging, okay? I am now cutting the seam allowance in half. But what I am not doing, this left needle here cannot cross over my seam line. If it crosses over my seam line, it's making a new seam line. One that I don't want because I don't have control of it, okay? If you want to practice this first, cutting, do that. Because when you cut, it's fatal. There's no fixing a cut. There, so now here's the sleeve hole. Okay, so now there's the sleeve.